Yo, what's up, squad? Welcome back to another episode of Walkthrough Wednesday, where we jump into the We Are the Ravers Part 2. This is where I'm going to show you the breakdown, the vocals, and all those other little ear candy little sprinkles on top, which make the track what it is today. Thank you so much for the support on the track. There'll be another track on Rave Culture coming soon. Super excited about that. Also, I have a track out now. By the time you're watching this, my new track on my own label, Rave Room Recordings, with Ozgun and Max Eris, called Hooked. It's out now, and hopefully you guys are liking it. I can already see in the future, and I know you guys think it's cool, so thanks for the support. So yeah, like, there will be a sample pack for that. I'm gonna ask the boys if they want to come up with one. We'll drop that on the Rave Room Patreon maybe. And if you haven't joined the Rave Room Patreon, join, because you get the tracks for all the wave files, all that kind of stuff that you can't get on Beatport, and you can also get wallpapers, phone, desktop, and they look sick because the artwork's on point. So let's move on into the project. This all was based around the vocal, right? As I said in the last episode, go watch that, all about the drop. It was massively inspired by the old school hard dance, old school hard style. So they did a lot of these kind of speech vocals where it's just telling a story, telling it like a little poem kind of thing. And we wanted to make the vocals relevant to the situation today. The fact that no clubs were open, festivals were shut and everything, it's very relevant to the situation. Like, we are the ravers, like, we are the ones who are going to bring the scene back, you know. So I wrote the script, actually. I've never done this before, really. This is the first time I've really done it, and I tried to rhyme the words at the end of each kind of sentence. I just listened to other tracks, and that's the way I kept learning that's how other people did it. And I just thought it would be cool if it rhymed. So let's start with the vocal itself. This is the final vocal that we had to chop up, because MC Stretch actually just said it like a conversation. The problem with doing that is it might overrun the actual, like, how big is this break? It's like 24 bars or something. Sometimes it would overrun, so I had to chop and rearrange stuff, but this is the vocal how it is.
We're all waiting for those gates to open. The energy wall to wall. There's no feeling like it. Music unites us all. The kick, bass and treble, the feeling of chemical energy. We rave away our problems. We can be just who we want to be. This is more than a feeling. It's a way of life. Partying Friday to Sunday, we ain't seeing no daylight. We're a family out there on the dance floor. We bond over the love, the addiction to the rave, the vibration of the sub. We'll make it through together. Each part we play is equal. The music is our life. We are the Ravers.
So yeah, as you can see, I just wrote things that are relevant to today, you know. Wanted to make it absolute banger, but also at the same time have an impact. Talk about like how shit the last year has been, but how bright the future will be, for all the ravers out there. So that's pretty much the vocal. These little sweeps are really cool. Super important in hardstyle. That's what I learned. You know, the vocals don't just start. They always have these little sweeps, and they're pretty easy. All you do, I think I showed this in the big room, trance from scratch, so go and check that. By the way, the FLP for that should be out now on my selfie page. I know a lot of people keep asking me what I've went to the selfie page but it's not there. It's because I haven't actually gotten it ready yet, but I will get it on there and released, so you guys can go and just mess around with it and use it in your own tracks. So by the time you're watching this, it will be on the page, so click in the description below and it will take you there. But in that video, in those videos, you can see how I do the reverses. Super simple in Edison. You just cut a section and then reverb it, reverse it, drag it straight into the project. So it's super important for this kind of thing. Processing wise, H delay.
We're all waiting for those gates to open. The energy wall to wall. There's no feeling like it.
Just gives it more width and more depth as well. Camel Crusher, I just wanted to really boost the sound, not too much on the distortion because I didn't want to ruin the recording, you know. Reverb, not too crazy, as you can see. I wasn't too happy with it, so I brought the overall knob down. SSL compression after the reverb, I want everything to feel tight. Little boost on the volume, then Cashmere Essentials at the end.
We're all waiting for those gates to open. The energy wall to wall. There's no feeling like it.
See how clean it is now. I would really recommend this for vocals. Pro Q3 at the end, probably just dipping out the things I didn't like, and this is where I finally landed. W&W actually added a couple of extra layers to the vocal, some low vocals and some higher vocals as well. That's why in the final track it sounds a little bit more meaty and more full. That was their suggestion, and they actually did that for us. But this was good enough. It's just they took it to the next level, you know. So if you do your vocals like this, it's enough. But what I would suggest is bouncing a version so you can pitch it lower, so 1 octave lower and 1 octave higher. Have some like robotic layers in there as well, just really make it sound full. So we have a sub bass as well. We want to create some emotion in here. We don't want just want him to talk. We want to have an emotional breakdown.
We're all waiting for those gates to open. The energy wall to wall. There's no feeling like it. Music unites us all. The kick, bass and treble, the feeling of chemical energy. We rave away our problems. We can be just who we want to be.
As you can see, you know, the bass line, it starts again, so you really need the vocal to sit well. That's why it's all chopped and rearranged. It took me so long to do this, but it was worth it in the end. How do we get more motion? We add chords. So added some pads here. Good old Nexus. So we'll go through these layers now. Really subtle one. So that's the epic pad. Here is an amazing choir. I love using this choir from Nexus. A choir is a real old school ravey sound, so we needed to get that in there just because we have this theme of old school hard dance in 2021, so we needed to use that. And then a couple more, like I think there's some strings. I used the choir in a low octave as well, and then added some strings. I can guarantee these are strings. Yeah, pop strings. I love these ones as well. EQ wise, we need to dip a little bit of the low mids. We don't want to get that kind of clash with the vocal. We've dipped the low end, obviously, as you do with everything that isn't sub bass. Stereo imaging we made a little bit wider because we want the vocal to be center, everything else to the side, so everything isn't jumbled on top of each other. A delay as well. I don't know why I added the delay here, but I think it just added to the overall like tranciness, the width of the sounds. EQ again, just getting rid of the stuff that I absolutely hated and felt they were a little bit loud, so brought them down, but they seem to sit very well with the sub bass and the vocal.
We're all waiting for those gates to open. The energy wall to wall. There's no feeling like it. Music unites us all. The kick, bass and treble, the feeling of chemical energy.
See, this already sounds good, so all this other stuff is ear candy. So as we can hear, this little sound I added, which just added a little bit of emotion. It's just an ad-lib. I just searched ad-libs on Splice and found that one. Got this little ghost sound. Just because he left a gap here, so I thought, why not put something in there? And also he's...
No feeling like it.
Originally, there was a script that he wrote, that MC Stretch wrote, was on about a ghost town. So I added this little ghost sound, but since then, I made the updated script talking about the current situation, and I left it in there anyway.
No feeling like it. Music unites us all.
Just sits nicely. It just, yeah, again, it just makes it sound more full and adds a little bit of just sprinkle on top, right? We've got a little ARP sound as well in here somewhere. Yeah, this is a super old school trancey sound. Love this one a lot. A gated trance sound. This sounds so old school, like the trance kind of music that I was listening to well before I knew I liked EDM. My dad used to listen to a lot of trance and stuff like that in the car, and this reminds me of that kind of time. Sick sound, really love this sound. It is a Nexus sound as always, and it's called Gate Evokes from the dance presets. Got some added strings. Adds even more emotion there. So let's see it all together without the vocals themselves. this. I think this is from Kura's pack, but this one it was panning left to right, and it just adds way more depth to the track. You can hear the impact that it really makes. I love these the extra details that get put in. Crowd noise. Again, I want it to sound like we're at a festival. You know, it's talking about festivals and stuff. So again, just adding to the theme. Claps are a great thing to add in the breakdown. It just allows the breakdown to build up slowly, and it allows it to keep moving. So then when you add the vocal on top, it's just like adding the cherry on top of the cake.
We're all waiting for those gates to open. The energy wall to wall. There's no feeling like it. Music unites us all. The kick, bass, and treble. The feeling of chemical energy. We rave away our problems. We can be just who we want to be. This is more than a feeling. It's a way of life.
Now, you might have noticed this big orange thing. Now, what is this? This is the overall tempo of the project. As you can see in the drop, the drop itself is 150. If it plays. But in the breakdown, it's 140 BPM.
The energy.
So all I did here was make a little